I will not be on next year's ballot by my choice. I do this decision, I didn't take it lightly.
Kim Foxx did a good job turning the case against R. Kelly into an emotional roller coaster that saw some people sympathize with the so-called victims, only later to start experiencing intervals where they think, were they really victims anyway? It was confusing at first, but finally, as we moved further into the 2 successive trials R. Kelly was subjected to, it became clearer that these women were lying on him. This is when Kim Foxx's enthusiastic approach to the matter became questionable, as those interested in this case began to suspect foul play. Apart from confessing that it was the airing of the surviving R. Kelly docuseries which she watched that caused her to have R. Kelly indicted, Kim Foxx also made sure to advertise through a press conference where she asked, "If there is any woman out there who has any grievance against R. Kelly, come to the DA's office and make a statement." These are statements that could potentially be added to the indictment against him. This was not only an act of prejudice, but also a breach of her promise to abide by the governing laws, as it is still unclear until today under which provision of the United States federal law she operated, when as a serving district attorney she chose to operate like she was one of the Me Too advocates, contrary to what is expected of a serving public officer. Just how do you even start thinking it's even possible to find real victims by calling out to whoever has a bad story to tell about a big-time celebrity like R. Kelly, who has hundreds of millions of fans around the world, and of course a considerable number of haters that may want to pull him down and destroy his career, and also a multiplicity of fortunists who may want to get a piece of the wealth he controls. R. Kelly, being the extraordinary, celebrated and globally recognized artist he is, would never be short of heartbroken women who could have hoped to consolidate him as their man but lost him along the way, became jealous that he was with another, and that would be willing to send a message of regret to him in form of revenge. By advertising, this is the category of women Kim Foxx was most likely to get, and she knew it. She definitely knew what she was doing, considering she was a big fan and follower of Lifetime's Surviving R. Kelly documentary. Nevertheless, she made the public announcement, and this marked the beginning of her downfall. It cannot go unnoticed that during her stay in office, we have seen a rise in prosecutorial misconduct, registering numerous legal mistakes in a single case like we saw with R. Kelly's. It is during her time that we saw prosecutors messaging supposed victims passionately like they were lovers, and describing their skins as glowing against their professional code of conduct. It's in her time that we saw prosecutors in her office turning into investigators and sourcing evidence by themselves using disposable emails to cover their tracks. It is during her stay in office that we saw RICO charges placed on a defendant that operated no illegal enterprise, and it is also during her time that witnesses who previously lied under oath were brought to the stand to tell even more lies on the defendant. As if that was not enough, it is during Kim Foxx's stay in office that government prosecutors connived with Bureau of Prisons officers to leak inmate communications of a jailed defendant to the media, to be used not only to win over a defense witness to the government side, but also to aid in a robbery at the defendant's residence during which defendant's money was stolen. Her office technically aided a robbery. The most weird fact about this being that all of this happened in a single case against a successful black artist, R. Kelly. If this should make Kim Foxx a uniquely remembered government servant for her exceptional record of deviating from normal legal practice? Maybe she is just different. But there was no way she was going to be re-elected into this rather sensitive position to put the lives and careers of fellow citizens at risk. But again, some people who have been following the case against R. Kelly have come up with a theory that Kim Foxx must have achieved her financial dreams through this particular case. Whoever hired her to destroy R. Kelly's career must have paid her well enough to sacrifice her job, and retire to $1 million ranch somewhere in another state pretending like nothing is wrong. After all, this is what usually happens to government officials and legal practitioners who target R. Kelly. An example being the settlement factory Susan Loggins, who after siphoning millions of dollars from R. Kelly's pool of wealth retired to her multi-million-dollar mansion in Florida, where she lives large like a pop star she isn't. Perhaps Kim Foxx is following in her footsteps. It's a shame. If you pay attention, you will notice a pattern of early retirements by officers and individuals who are directly involved in the case against R. Kelly. If they don't retire to prison, They retired to unknown destinations to spend their millions in total privacy pretending they did nothing wrong. Unfortunately for Michael Avenatti, he had to retire to prison, and had he not taken the plea bargain, he was destined to die there. The way matters are unfolding lately should be an eye-opener for all those involved in the case against R. Kelly to fasten their belts, for what is likely to happen next may not leave them proud citizens of this country. Fortunately for many of them, they have no public jobs to resign from, but their own personal careers will be shaken to the core. It will look so bad to be remembered as one of the people that attempted to take down a successful artist for petty reasons as micro-financial gains but failed and had to go to exile. It's a shame that this is how it has to end for most of the participants in this rather bogus takedown campaign. The man who fought R. Kelly like they shared a wife with him, Avenatti, ended up having to confess all his sins and serving time in a maximum prison. And lately we are getting to learn that Angelo Clary, who is also Azriel's father, was sleeping around with the so-called victims. We are waiting to see how things go for the Me Too movement and its drivers. Gwendolyn Boyd says, "At this point we can all see the new trend is that everything is now coming out. There will be no more secrets in the case against R. Kelly, and whoever wronged him will feel the heat and leave the kitchen." When Azriel turned against him, some people thought it was all over for him, but look how the text message evidence reveals she and her parents set him up. Look how the ID story exonerates R. Kelly. If she had an ID that said she was 18, and even the police were convinced she was indeed 18, how was Robert supposed to know she wasn't? Everyone ought to know that God has the last word in this, and it looks like his message is better be careful what you do to Robert, because it might turn around on you. May God keep on blessing Miss Bonjean and Robert Kelly as they fight the injustice. Rebecca Johnson says, "I for one knew this from day one. I was able to see the injustice that was being done to R. Kelly, and it was so disturbing that the media was almost successful at causing people to hate on him and judge him wrong. I however thank God to see that everyone else now seems to be seeing through all the corruption from the government and the parents, and that everyone is now saying free R. Kelly. I guess it always takes God's timing for such issues to be resolved, complicated as they may seem." Lori Fleming says, "Putting Kim Foxx issues aside for a second, Judge Ann Donnelly did not follow the rules according to the available law throughout the New York trial. Never in my 60 years of living have I seen a judge act as if someone gave her major bucks to ignore the law. Charge the man for the crimes he committed and not those he didn't. Mann Act violation, or call it trafficking, underage girls, RICO and everything else he did not commit. This judge should be looked into as something is not right." Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.